Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. Today it's a little chilly and a little bit rainy, but I wanted to share a video with you that I made last Saturday when I was at Dan Owen's house. I've already shared two videos that I'll link above, but Dan has some amazing plants in his front yard. They're water-wise, they're beautiful, and I just wanted to share them with you. So go ahead and enjoy this video. So here we are in your front yard.
Yes.
And let me go out here and just kind of do a shot of the front.
Get a view.
Yeah. Okay, so your front yard is absolutely gorgeous. It's not your normal Utah front yard.
No,
What
it's
did you
not.
do to your yard, Dan?
I disliked mowing grass,
Yeah.
so we took it all out. Took it all out and decided that less water is better. And
Absolutely.
and you see that there's no water happening over here. Nothing gets watered over here.
Yeah, you're getting, now are these bachelor's buttons?
No, these are larkspurs.
Oh, larkspurs, yeah.
I threw a package of seed out there a couple of years ago, and it hasn't stopped yet. You know,
I love it.
and they haven't really moved too badly. I think I got 4 or 5 of them out of here someplace. They're not really mobile. I don't think the birds come along and eat them or anything like that. Maybe they do, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know that. You know, I have lots of fun things in here.
Oh, I love your stuff.
My forsythia is about done. You can see some of the blossoms.
But it's gorgeous, and you prune it properly. Yes,
Yes.
watch my video about forsythia.
Yeah, you want to make sure you don't prune them in the fall. My nice neighbor Kent over here pruned his kind of the wrong time. But he's experimenting with that thing. This thing used to be this tall and all the way out to the sidewalk.
Oh, that was huge then.
Yeah, it is on one of the rejuvenation shrubs. Okay, you can prune the heck out of this thing, take 90% of it off, it comes back up.
Yep.
He did that, I think, 2 years ago. Year and a half ago, because I
Wow.
remember he did it late summer, early fall. You know, and it just came back like it was mad.
Yeah.
You know, just, don't you do that to me. I have lots of fun stuff in here. My pride and joy over here, my
Oh, one of my
bristlecone pine.
Favorite.
Most folks don't have those.
Nope.
Most folks don't have the patience for those
Yep, bristlecone pine, and you can identify them by the little white
spots on the
the
needles.
spikes on the needles. And they're beautiful shape.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm trying to modify that shape myself a bit. My forsythia started blooming in mid-March. It does that by taking advantage of this microclimate I have of this nice hot stone wall.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, microclimates. Learn about
Microclimates
microclimates.
are very, very
Take advantage
intriguing.
of them.
good for you. Sorry I didn't have the Zen lake raked. Speaking of microclimates and taking advantage of them, this one didn't work.
So what is this?
That was a Zone 6 Salvia gregae.
Oh,
You know,
it's sad.
It's
gone.
sad. It didn't
it's
work.
beyond sad.
it's beyond sad now. Now it's kindling. Okay, but it's okay. You know, we're going to experiment with that because sometimes we're all just experimenting here.
Well, that's what gardening's about. I
It
say
is.
if you don't experiment and have things die, then you're not getting the full gardening experience.
Exactly. If you don't want to
Experience.
experiment and you're a gardener, just go to the produce section and buy your own zucchinis.
Yeah.
You know, it works better if you experiment. And this thing, I love that thing because the hummingbirds just go nuts over the thing.
Yeah.
You know, the thicker sticker one right over there, right next to it, that's a Zone 5 Salvia gregae that I'd had for a couple of years.
Is it?
It's toast.
It's toast.
It's toast. It didn't survive the last year.
Do you know what? I'm wondering what happened because I lost all of my hydrangeas. My 10-year-old hydrangeas. They're
This
gone.
is not the first I've heard of hydrangeas croaking this winter.
And I wonder what it is because it wasn't
know.
exceptionally dry. It wasn't exceptionally
No.
cold.
Maybe it's just one of those things that we just need to know our hydrangeas better.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can all do better. Here's one of my nice little things I created last year and this year. I just put this chain trellis up here for my Don Juan rose.
Oh, I love the Don Juan roses.
Oh, everybody loves Don Juan. It's my
Yeah.
uncle's favorite. I kind of planted in memory of him. I was missing him that day, so I just went down and bought it. And this blooming thing
Oh, my
smells
word.
heavenly. This is the eternal fragrance. Get close so the people can
Oh,
smell
my word.
that.
Can you guys smell that? Oh, my word, it smells so good.
Ah, we did love that fragrance there. And this starts up in April
Yeah, these
And
are the Daphnes. Which one did you say?
this is Eternal Fragrance, so
Eternal
it's not
Fragrance.
just going to do April. This is going to go into June.
Wow.
It's going to keep on blooming.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
What do you say? Gets 6-7 feet away, and I can smell that.
Yeah, so it's a wonderful plant. I've always loved this thing as long as we've had it.
How long have you had them?
I think I've had this one for 2-3 years. They are rather dicey about being put in. Once they're in and established, they're easier to take care of. But when you plant them, most people kill them. My perennials are starting to come up, doing fairly well. I can't seem to get rid of the geranium sanguineum down there. It keeps coming back, but these ballerina geranium
Yeah,
is
look
still
at the
doing good.
difference in size there
Yeah.
on the leaves.
Yep.
Yeah.
They'll both have similar blossoms. This one, however, has a really nice deep purple veins in the flower.
Oh,
It's
neat.
very, very short, only gets about this tall, spreads out quite a ways. This one over here was, I think, this was placed in here by like 4 owners ago, who
Oh,
used
wow.
to live across the block over here. They recently moved a few blocks away again. And I think it was a gift from their mother. So it's
So
been
it's,
here.
when you talk about long-lived perennials,
It's
these
a
are
very good long-lived perennial.
perennial.
It will bloom for 3 to 4 months, which is better than some things.
Yeah.
This that looks like a daylily, doesn't it?
It does. I thought that was a daylily.
It's not.
What is
Because
that?
I have too much shade here. I know there's no shade right now, but this oak tree is gonna shade it pretty good. This is a spiderwort.
Oh yeah, that blooms. When the sun hits it. So
I
has it
think I
been a good
get
there?
a sporadic bloom. Good blooms to start off with in May, and then the blooms will be kind of sporadic through June, maybe July. Just depends upon the heat.
Yeah.
It's a lovely plant, and this is
This
that
is
is
so
a
funny.
petunia, and
This is
I
so
planted
funny.
that last year.
Last year, and tell us the temperatures this last week.
20 something, I don't know. No, but
That's what you call a microclimate, because
is a
that is
nice
not a hardy
microclimate.
petunia.
and it's not the first petunia I've had survive right here. I had 2 wave petunias survive over there a couple years ago.
Yeah.
You just have to keep them nice and warm.
Yeah. So with
And
this
it's like a zone
concrete,
7
and this
perennial.
is facing south, it's
Yeah.
probably just. I think that's fun.
Yeah, it is. I love them. This is a weed I bought and then tried to dig it out last year, and hey, here it is again.
Yes.
That's a passion flower.
Oh,
So-
what?
What? What?
I've killed 7 passion flowers here.
When I dig it up, you can take it home.
Okay. So what's the?
The problem with this thing is that its native, its common name is maypop.
Right.
Okay, which means where it's growing down south and in the east, it blooms in May.
Right.
Okay, it's not even thinking about doing that here because we're too long and cold of a winter. And then by the time it's warm enough to bloom, it does it for a couple of weeks and it's done.
Oh, so it's not even worth trying then.
Well, to me, it's not worth trying. But again, when you go back to the gardener's motto, we're going to experiment.
Yeah.
If you want to experiment, I did. I liked it for the first year, but it wasn't. When it blooms, it's fantastic. It's just
Yeah.
absolutely gorgeous. Great big, huge, fancy, frilly flowers, but you get them for not long enough, in my opinion.
Wow. Okay. Don't know anybody who's really been successful with those.
Okay, there it is. We had some Timpanogos Temple put some in one year, put in there about a dozen of them, and then the next year when they came back for the next load, they dug them up. Okay, brought them back and said, "Here, you want these?" Not really.
Do you know, maybe what I'll do is, because this is, like I said, it's up against a wall and it's south facing. Maybe I'll put it on the south side of my house, right in full
Maybe.
sun, where maybe it just gets more warmth.
Yeah, because this is right here more like a zone 7 right here.
Yeah.
Whereas our normal zone 5 would kill it.
Right.
Actually, no. This thing is a zone 5 perennial. That's a zone 5 perennial, and the zone 7 is what's keeping it healthy and not letting me kill it. So, what do you want to do?
I love it.
Yeah.
So now this one on the other side here looks like a clematis.
You are correct. Sorry, I haven't pruned that yet. It is dead from here up.
Yeah.
And this is Henry I clematis. I got that because it would look good with the green foliage climbing up the posts with the stark white blossoms on them.
Oh yeah.
Because you have the white post and then you have the green foliage and the whites. Just thought it'd be cool.
Yeah, that is really
Yeah.
neat.
This one right here, and there's a matching one on that side. This is a Blue Fortune Agastache. Sorry
Yep.
about the mess here. I'm in the middle of cleaning up, as you can see. And that has a sky blue flower to it.
Smells so good.
It
Smells like licorice.
just like black licorice.
Yep.
You know, fantastic, and you can smell it from a distance.
Yeah, and those I love in the garden areas because they bring in the pollinators like crazy.
Oh yes, I have tons and tons of those all over the place in there. A lot of the stuff not designed specifically to bring pollinators in, but I get some pretty weird ones.
Yeah,
you know.
you do with those.
I get butterflies. I get what looks like tiny little wasps. I get tiny bees.
Those are the ones I look for. Those little
yeah.
tiny wasps, little tiny bees,
Yeah,
little hoverflies.
I get tons of those on that desert fern over there. That's probably one of my favorite plants.
Let's go look at that because that's another one that I've been
Okay.
thinking about.
Cool.
Now these I love the idea because I've heard they're extremely drought tolerant. They are very much made for our area,
Yeah.
and I've heard they're just absolutely gorgeous. Right now, obviously, it's
Just coming out of dormancy.
just coming out of dormancy.
It is. I can attest to its extreme drought tolerance. The only one I've ever seen of these out in the wild was in Idaho's Craters of the Moon National Monument.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, growing out there amongst all the barren lava fields.
Which says something.
Yeah, it's a tough plant. I think this thing, the only time it ever got consistent water was when I first put it in.
How big does it get?
It'll put on another foot and a half this year.
Okay.
And as you can tell from the looks out of it, I have been trimming it back.
Right.
You know, I think I trimmed it back a little bit further last year. You got to let them get bigger. That's just the nature of things. It wants to get big, and you can't keep cutting it back down to less than it was.
Yeah, so it's not one of those things that you can hedge. This is a
well,
plant where
I
you
did.
put it in the right spot at the right
Put it in the
time.
right spot. Make sure it gets a small, decent amount of water to begin with, small amount of water after that, and you'll get a foot of growth. And the blossoms are really, it gets covered.
Really?
It gets pretty much covered. You can't hardly see any green underneath the things. It's just like when your potentillas start blooming.
Yeah.
You know, potentillas, of course, bloom a lot longer than this thing. It's only going to bloom for about a month. But this thing will bring at least 3 different pollinators that I don't recognize.
Oh,
You know,
I love it.
Tiny bees, small bumblebees, other interesting things.
Yeah,
there.
usually when you get stuff like that, they're predatory insects, which are going to go after your bad insects.
Yes, and those things are probably just coming after, instead of the nectar on the thing, coming after the pollen, because they
Yeah.
are pollen. Excuse me, not they are protein eaters.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, except for the bumbles.
And then
Bumbles
look at your rosemary.
Yeah. Oh, it's finally starting to bloom. Good. See my little powder blue blossoms on
Yeah,
there?
I've been waiting for mine to bloom this year, and it seems to be late. There must
It
have been
is.
something about this winter.
Yeah, and then my western redbud there will bloom very soon now.
Here, let me go around here and see those little tiny blooms
Okay.
all over it. So here's this beautiful rosemary. Rosemarys do grow and last here if you get the right ones.
Yeah.
Look at that. Let's see if I can zoom in.
And this one right here is the western redbud. It is different than your eastern redbud, which is the most common one around here.
Yes,
There's not much in the way of blossoms up here. I am trying to train it in
that's a
free
newer
form.
growth, yeah.
Yeah, well, cut it down here and up it went. You know, just train it to do what you want it to do. Once the blossoms are done, the blossoms are not the purple pink that you normally see on the eastern. It's really more of a pastel pink,
Okay.
which matches these rosemary blossoms very well.
I'll bet that's really
Yeah,
beautiful.
It is a good combination. I wish I had some open here.
Yeah, it's just about time.
My magnolia's about
Oh, look how
done.
cute he is.
Yeah, it's just a tiny little thing. That one's not frosted yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely thing. And here's another interesting garden plant that I have in the wrong place. Sorry about that. He seems to be tolerant of it. This is a witch hazel.
Oh, this is a witch hazel.
This is a witch hazel. It has some pretty interesting leaves. Deer typically don't eat it because they don't recognize it. The only 2 times I think I've had deer come after the thing, I have seen come in, I don't know, early or late spring, and I see a bite taken out of it. And then I see it right over there on the driveway.
They spit it
They
out.
take a bite and they spit it out. So it's like the local herds
like
are figuring out.
gross.
Okay. Also, something else we want to think about here. You'll notice that it looks like a mess here. See all these weeds right here?
You've been busy.
I got a little busy this morning. My wife wanted to get outside. You know, she's been really locked up quarantine here for the last 2 months, which is really tough. But the weed fabric underneath here prevented all these weeds from going any deeper than they did.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I should have made it a little deeper. There's my weed fabric.
Yep.
Let's put that back on here. And to show you, oh, there's one over there. Come here. Come here, watch this, Molly. We missed this booger. Looks robust and healthy,
A
doesn't
weed!
it?
Oh no!
Oh no!
You're
How
gonna have
tough
to get
is
out
this
your
one going
trowel and
to
dig
be?
deeply.
It's just going to be like that.
Okay.
And that is not a break. That is where the roots stopped.
Because of the weed fabric.
Because the weed fabric is right there. See how
Now,
tough that was?
Before we go any further,
Yes.
do you put weed fabric under bark mulch?
You mean?
Well, I mean, if this entire thing was bark mulch, would you put weed fabric in? I don't see any weed fabric.
It's down there somewhere.
Oh, so you did do it.
I did do it.
I don't. But
That's okay.
you need it under rock.
I don't know if you need it on rocks, but all those weeds over there, those all came up over the winter. Okay.
Yeah.
And all that took was 5 minutes.
Yeah, I say you need weed fabric under rock mulch because the rocks eventually settle into the dirt below and the dirt comes up and it's gross.
Oh, that and the fact that your sand is blowing in.
Yeah.
See that? I did not have dirt in here when I put this rock in here.
Yep.
There was no dirt in here. But it blows and it gets in here, and then you have a perfect place for weeds to grow in the wintertime. In the summertime, they fry
Gets
to
too
death.
warm. Yeah.
But in the wintertime, they're going to fry. Excuse me, they're going to grow really good. Okay. Here's another fantastic plant here. Have the people smell this one. That's a Korean spice viburnum.
Oh, yes. Yes, this is another
Smells
one of my
really good.
favorites.
That's a fantastic one. Those things are all over Temple Square and the conference center.
Now, how big does that one get?
It's supposed to get about 6+ feet.
Yeah.
Normally people don't let them get that big. I certainly don't plan on letting it get that big here
Yeah.
either.
How old is that one?
I think I've had it in there for 2 years. It's a little slow on the growth.
And I thought it took shade. Does it take shade or sun or both?
It goes just about anywhere. It's a viburnum. Viburnums are very tolerant of that kind of stuff.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I love your yard. You have a lot of fun stuff.
Thank you. I hope this. I hope my Don Juan will be blooming while I still have the eternal fragrance going.
Oh, yeah, that'll be absolutely fun. Yeah, the Don Juans are the red, right?
Deep red, yes.
Deep red,
with some
yeah.
good fragrance. It's a
Yeah.
rather large flower for a climbing rose.
Right.
You know, dark red, and wants to go kind of straight up. You know, as opposed to the blazes and stuff like that that go out like this. And you put them on a fence and wrap them around the styles.
Oh, yeah, they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much. So thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, subscribe, click the like button, and go enjoy yourself and have a wonderful garden-wise adventure.